Why are you not in school? Your son is a genius. This school is too small for him and doesn't have enough good teachers for training him. Please teach him yourself. I'm gonna have you read to me today. So here you go. Remember where we left off? I think we were here. So start from there.
Miss Edison, your son is adult. He is mentally slow and unable to think clearly. We won't let him come to school anymore. Sincerely, Headmaster Jonas Well.
Such a beautiful story, right? And by the way, that's a true story of Thomas Edison's life. This is what exactly happened to him during his school phase of life. So when his mother received the message from the school and started reading the message, she had two options, right? Option number one is to share the exact letter with Thomas and to admit his disability, his mental disability, as the school dean has shared with his mother that he's not able to think and he's mentally slow. And the second option is to reject this idea and make Thomas believe in his potential, right? So imagine if this didn't happen with Thomas. We would not have the ability to enjoy the light during our nights, right? And just think about the number of people who are not able to express their true potential because of wrong messages that we receive from our society or from our environment. A small change in the message changed the course of Thomas Edison's life, right? Who is now considered the greatest inventor in the history of the United States. And the truth is that you have exactly the same potential that Thomas had. And your only challenge in life is to know how to bring this potential to the surface, like his mother guided him. So if we apply the illustration on what happened with Thomas, on a conscious level, he was labeled, he was flagged that he's mentally slow and he's not able to think properly. So it's better to keep him at school. Where on a subconscious level, where his self-image is stored, he received a complete different message. His mother told him that you are a genius and the school does not have enough good teachers to teach you. So imagine how powerful this message was on Thomas to a degree. Maybe he was literally mentally slow at that time, but because his mother created a positive self-image in his subconscious mind, and since the subconscious mind or the self-image is responsible of 96 to 98% of our results, Thomas Edison is now the greatest inventor in the history of the United States. So I can see, guys, someone has raised his hand. Do you have anything you would like to share? Just please comment in the chat box if you would like to share anything with me. All right, so let's recap on the process of how results are created. So it starts first with our thoughts, what we are thinking about, that stir emotions or feelings, and our actions control our, our feelings control our actions, and our actions produce our results, right? So it all starts with what we are thinking about. And the truth is, humans think in pictures. We literally think in pictures. If I ask you to think about your car, your mobile, any relative that you have, a picture of your car will be printed on the screen of your mind, right? If you didn't think about that before, you can try it right now and you will notice that you will get a picture. So in 1960, Dr. Maxwell Maltz, a plastic surgeon, was doing cosmetic or plastic surgeries on patients, maybe to change something in their face. And he noticed that sometimes there was not only a physical change, there was a psychological change. So the patient didn't only look different, they acted and felt differently. But he said that this doesn't always happen. Sometimes, regardless of how successful the physical operation was, there was no psychological change. He went on to say that the self-image, or how the patient sees themselves, sets the boundaries of personal accomplishment. So no matter what changes on the outside, if I don't change how I see myself, I will not be satisfied or happy with the results that I will get in my life. So he started the discovery of this theory of self-image, which was considered at that time the most important psychological discovery. And Dr. Maxwell developed this theory in his book, Psycho-Cybernetics. If you enjoy reading and if you are a good reader, I super advise you to get this book and read it. So psycho being related to the mind, and cybernetic is a mechanism, or it's a system that maintains a definite course that has been established. Let me clarify that. The cybernetic mechanism was invented by two German scientists. They wanted to develop and upgrade the system of the missile during the war. They wanted the missile to follow the target if it changes its location. They don't want it to be static. They want it to be smart. So if the target has changed, they want the cybernetic mechanism in the missile to set the path of the route of the missile, right? So what Dr. Maxwell Maltz meant by his book, that we have a cybernetic mechanism in our mind that sets the path that we are going to go through. Let me give you another example of a cybernetic mechanism, the autopilot in the airplane. We all know that once the airplane takes off the ground, the pilot can enjoy his time, right? Because the autopilot will fly the airplane until destination and until the time comes to land the airplane. So during the flight time, the airplane might face air turbulences, right? It might get it off course, maybe up or down, whatever. But the cybernetic mechanism in the airplane, which is the autopilot, will get back the airplane on course, because it's catastrophic if the airplane gets off course for a couple of seconds, right? They have a specific path to follow. So the cybernetic mechanism control the path that the airplanes can take, no matter the turbulences that might face, right? So that's why, let me give you a practical example. That's why when I personally was in school, I was getting, for how much we spend in school, 15 years, I was getting exactly the same grade every single month, every single year during these 15 years. Why is that? Not because I wasn't smart enough, not because I wasn't focusing enough at class, not because I wasn't studying enough. It's completely the opposite. But now I understand, because this is how I used to see myself. I used to see myself as a student that can get the grade of 12 or 13 in the report card at school, right? And this is exactly what happens with the people who try to go on a diet. They start to change their actions. They eat less, work out more. But we all know that they succeed in releasing some kilograms at the beginning, but later on, few weeks later, they will get back the old weight. Why is that? Because they change their actions, but they do not change how they see themselves. And when a person who is overweight or considers themselves overweight goes on a diet without altering the self-image, any weight loss will be temporary. Because the self-image, being a cybernetic mechanism, measures the deviation from the set goal. And the set goal is how I see myself. If I see myself as a fatty person, this is the set goal. When the deviation happens, the cybernetic mechanism will notice the deviation and will correct automatically the course and get me back on course. So the weight that I lost will be found again. And this happens to everything. Stop and think about the New Year's resolution. Why they fade before February? Why? Why sometimes we set a goal and we do not succeed in reaching it, although we know what we should do to reach the desired target? That's because the cybernetic mechanism that is stored in your subconscious mind. And you are not going to reach the desired result before you change the self-image. So the question is here, how is it formed? How do you have the self-image that you have today? It's so important to understand how I form my self-image to know how I can move forward, right? And we have three main areas that have shaped our self-image. Number one, our childhood or your childhood. During our childhood, especially from 0 to 7 years old, because from 0 to 7 years old, and this is a very important message if we have participants who are parents, this is a crucial message for you to understand, to know how to raise properly your kids. So from 0 to 7 years old, the subconscious mind, which is responsible of the majority of our results, is wide open. That's why the baby can accept any idea that we can give them. That's why it's very easy to convince a baby with an idea, and it's so hard to convince your brother with an idea, right? Because their subconscious mind is wide open. They can accept whatever idea. So during our childhood, especially from 0 to 7 years old, the way your parents have raised you have to do a lot with yourself. If you were born in a family where the parents used to criticize you a lot to improve a certain action or a certain result, and they used to express very few emotions with you, this will result having low esteem and negative self-image, right? And that can lead the person to become a shy person, doubtful in what they can achieve. Conversely, if you have been raised with praise, encouragement, motivation, this will result in having a positive self-image. And that's the only difference between a shy person and a confident person, right? I know that you can relate somehow to this, right? And you are telling yourself, oh, now I understand. And the second factor that shapes your self-image is the emotional impact, right? And the emotional impact happens when a particular event activates your deep emotions, like a death of someone close to you, a breakup after a long relationship, the loss of a very important job, etc., etc. That's what we call emotional impact. Something impacted your emotional state, right? And finally, our environment. The people with whom we mix with most of the time, especially the social media that gave us access to the news of any person in the world, right? And by default, we start comparing ourselves to these people because these people picture for us an ideal situation of their life, right? They picture their life full of romance, full of financial freedom, they have an excellent body shape, etc., etc. And here we start talking negatively with ourselves. You are not good enough. You don't have the resources that this person has. Your market is not mature if you are an entrepreneur or you are a salesperson. Your market is not mature as their market, etc., etc. And these three components are the most responsible and considerable components that have shaped your self-image, right? So I really advise you to take your time after this webinar to analyze more the situation. So let's apply the theory of the self-image on a salesperson, okay? Let's assume I am the salesperson, okay? As a salesperson, everyone has a self-image, right? My self-image, how I see myself, how I believe in myself, how I believe in the product or the service that I'm selling is going to influence my actions and my behaviors while meeting the prospect, right? So let's assume I'm not confident that this product is good enough or it's expensive. I'm not sure that I can sell it, right? So this will influence my actions and my behavior, which will impact the belief of the prospect about me, my product, and my service. And how the prospect believes in my product and my service is going to cause the prospect actions and decisions, right? If I'm shy, I'm not confident enough, if I'm not sure that the product is the ideal solution for their needs, they will make a decision to not buy, right? And when they do not buy, this will reinforce, this will reassure for me that you are not good enough as a salesperson, that your product is not good enough, right? So imagine how it starts. It starts with how I see myself, with how I believe in myself, in my product, and in my service. And this literally happens with everything you do, not only in sales. The way you talk, the way you manage your team, the way you sell, the way you manage your life with your partner, everything. It's all based on how you see yourself. And this is very important to understand. And this is what we teach. One of the most important things that we teach for salespeople. We can find thousands of sales training online, but very few sales training that really cover the psychology of selling, because selling is a pure psychology game. So how to discover your current self-image? Now we have a clear understanding of what a self-image is and how it gets formed. Now we have to understand how to discover your current self-image. And you simply ask yourself 3 main questions. And I want you to apply these 3 questions in regards of the goal that you have written at the beginning of the webinar, right? So the first question, how do I see myself? What my self-talk is about. If you look into your eyes when you stand in front of the mirror, how do you talk to yourself? How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself full of potential, full of performance, or you think that you are not good enough, you lack a certain skill? How do you talk about yourself? And number 2, what do you believe I can do, or what I believe I cannot do? We all know, and we all set limitations to ourselves, right? We think that we can do a particular thing, but this thing, it's impossible to do, right? So what do I believe I can do or cannot do? And the third question that I wanted to ask, what experience have I had that resulted with my belief system that I presently have? So these 3 questions, if you answer them honestly, and I really advise you to be honest with yourself, because if you don't understand and discover your self-image, that will be a roadblock to progress toward the result that you would like to achieve. All right, so this is how we discover our current self-image. Now, how to create the new self-image, right? Number 1, we have to let go. We have to let go the past. We have to let go the person who have hurt you, the experience that were negative, or anything that shaped negatively your self-image, and you have to forgive. And I know that sometimes, because I always been asked, well, it's so hard to forgive. And I know that, I really understand that. But you have to know that if you hold any guilt or any negative emotion to anyone, that will be a roadblock for you to go after what you really want to achieve. So we don't forgive for other people first, we forgive for ourselves to really release our mental activities from any negativity that can hold us back, all right? And the truth is, you are not responsible of what had happened for you in the past, but what I can assure you that you are responsible and capable to change. So number 2, you have to use your imagination to create the new picture and have it in written, right? I shared with you before that we think in images. And what we have to do, we have to use our imagination. And that's why we have been gifted with our imagination. We have our imagination to create the pictures in our mind that we are going to act on, right? Think about when you go for a dinner in a restaurant. While choosing in the menu, what you are unconsciously doing, you are picturing how this platter or how this item will look like, and if satisfy your taste, you will get it, right? That's why we start asking the waiter, well, what do you advise us to take? What is the most selling item? Because we are trying to picture the ideal platter that will satisfy our taste. So we have been told that we have to start before we can finish, right? If I want to reach the finish line while running, I have to start running so I can reach the finish line, right? In fact, we must finish before we start. In fact, if we start before we finish, that will be risky to reach the proper destination. We must finish before we start. And what I mean by finishing is to finalize the mental image in our mind of the desired result that we would like to achieve, and then we start taking action. So that's why it's super important to finish before we start. And we should never start before we finish. And that's what humans are capable of doing. We have been told, especially during school days, not to use our imagination, right? And if you recall to your memory these school days, when a nice idea crossed your mind and you look outside the window and you start developing this idea, what will happen is the teacher will start shouting on us, right? Why you are not focused with me? From now on, you will be punished and you have to write with me. I will never stop focusing in class 200 times and every line in a different color, right? We have been all in this situation. So we must finish before we start. We must picture the goal that we desire to achieve before we start taking action. I'm sure that you know already this painting for Van Gogh, the great artist. He was asked one time, how can you paint such beautiful paintings? And his answer was so powerful. He answered, well, I dream my painting and then I paint my dream. That's my secret. I dream my painting and then I start painting my dream. And that's what we have to do. It's so important because the image gives order to our mind, right? It orders our thoughts and we become what we think about. So it's very important to have order in our mind because we become what we think about, and having a clear image of the person you would like to become, of the income that you would like to reach, the perfect body shape that you would like to have, puts your thoughts in order. And it's so important to have our thoughts in order. And then we have said that we have to have this image in written. Okay, so we have to create in our imagination this picture, and then we have to have it in written as a script. We call it the self-image script. It's like the script of your movie, and you are the main star of the movie. How you would like your life to be, how you would like your body shape to be, how you would like your bank account to be. Okay, so again, we have to let go of the past and create the image in our imagination and have it in written with as much details as possible. So let me give you a few tips on how to write your self-image script. Number one, remember what is your goal and be sure that you have an audacious goal, right? Don't have a goal that you know that you can achieve or you think you can achieve. Be sure that you really set the bar high so you can push your limits. So number one, your self-image script should contain your goal. Number two, how would this person that you are describing think, feel, and what habits they have, right? If I have a goal to become a successful entrepreneur, how does a successful entrepreneur think? How do they feel? And what are the successful habits that a successful entrepreneur should have? And I have it in written. Number three, what are the good qualities that this person has? And here you can borrow some qualities from people that you look up to. Maybe your scout leader, your leader at work, your mother, your father. You can borrow the qualities that you admire in this person because you truly believe that the person that you would like to become should have these qualities, right? So you borrow these qualities and you put them in your life script. And finally, you have to write them in positive and emotionalized terms in the present tense as if it's already happening, all right? So it's very important to write it in the present tense because our mind cannot differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. Now, let me say that again. Our subconscious mind cannot differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. And that's why it's very important to describe myself in the present tense as if I'm already there. Okay? Okay, now we understood how to change our self-image. We understood how to write the self-image script. The question here is, how can I replace the self-image that I presently have with the new script that I wrote, and now it's time to replace it, right? Okay, there are two steps. Number one, you have to keep repeating the script, to read it aloud at least twice a day with emotions. Why with emotions? Because remember when I explained about the subconscious mind, it's the emotional mind, and the language of the subconscious mind is emotions. So if you talk to yourself using rational words, your message is not going to reach the subconscious mind. It's going to stay in your conscious mind. So your self-image script must include a lot of emotions and repeated at least twice every day. And number two, the famous motto, fake it until you make it. You have to act as if that person already achieved that goal, right? So let's say my goal is to become a very successful coach and mentor and entrepreneur. I have to act as this person. I have to feel like this person. I have to think like this person. And a good exercise to do that, you can go to networking events, introduce yourself, shake hands with confidence, talk and walk like the person you wish to become. And very soon you will notice that what you are faking will become a habitual way of behaving. And you know that our actions are going to produce our results. It's very important, guys. Very, very, very important. Please let me know if you can relate, if you have any questions before we move forward. Is everything clear? Do you have any questions on whatever we discussed so far? Let me check the chat box. Okay, I will assume that everything is clear. Anyway, we are going to have a dedicated section at the end of the webinar to get your questions and answer them. Okay, it seems we have. Okay, we definitely can relate. Perfect. Perfect. So let me give you an example of a self-image script. Let's assume my goal is around health. That's what my self-image script can be. I'm so happy and grateful now that I live in a healthy body. I take care of my body because I believe that my greatest wealth is my healthy body. I wear the clothes that I love, and I feel confident while meeting and talking to new people, etc., 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 that you can develop at your convenience. But notice that my script has a lot of emotions, and it's in the present tense, right? I'm picturing myself in the perfect body shape that I would like to reach, and I wear the clothes that I love wearing, and I used to get away from the sexy clothes that I can wear because of some fatty parts in my body, etc. So it must be full of emotions, and it must give you a clear description of the person that you desire to become. In a way, if you gave the script to anyone, they can understand what you are trying to reach. Okay, again, our subconscious mind is emotion, so you must include a lot of emotions in your script so you can influence your subconscious mind, not only your conscious mind. Another self-image script around sales, if you are in sales or if you are an entrepreneur, because I believe every entrepreneur is a salesperson. In fact, every single person on earth for me is a salesperson, because everyone is either selling an idea, a product, or a service, right? Our parents used to sell us a lot of ideas, one of them on the importance of education. So if you have a goal around sales, that could be the script. I am so happy and grateful now that I am a calm, disciplined, and confident salesperson. I speak to new people every day about my business, and I love helping people with what I have got. I'm a high achiever in my field, and I always keep improving and improving myself. Right? So I hope that I gave you a clear a clear picture of what a self-image script can be. Now, I want you to think about a time that you took your car to a station and you cleaned it. Didn't you notice that it's performing better when you cleaned it, and the sound system sounds to be better, the seats are more comfortable just because you cleaned it? Have you noticed that any time? And this is exactly what happens when you start working on the new change of your self-image. You will see yourself performing better exactly the same way you thought that your car is performing better, just for the idea that you cleaned it from the outside, right? So you will see yourself performing better, and this will help you build your self-confidence in the area that you are trying to improve your results, right? So we think in images, and the reason why we saw the car is more performing, because the image of our car in our mind is now clear and clean. And that's why you must have a clear and clean image of the person that you intend to become, or the results that you desire to achieve. Last September, I was in Toronto, Canada for a training with my mentor, Bob Proctor. He told me, the most important thing that you can do, Nadim, is to keep the most important thing the most important thing. Let me say that again. He told me that the most important thing in life is to keep the most important thing the most important thing. And freedom is the most important thing in life. And of course, he wasn't talking about the physical freedom to go out of the prison. He meant the financial freedom, the social freedom, freedom from negative self-image, from negative people, from any constraint that we put in our mind. He went on to share with me a quote from Bill Gove, one of his mentors. It says, if I want to be free, I've got to be me. Not the me you think I should be, not the me I think my wife thinks I should be, not the me I think my kids think I should be. If I want to be free, I've got to be me. So better know who me is. Wow. It blew my mind the first time I heard this quote, because most of the people don't know who they are, right? They think that they are their names. If you ask someone, well, tell me about yourself, or who are you? I'm Nadim. No, that's not you. That's your name. It was given to you, right? Well, this is me. No, that's not you. This is your body. You came into your body, and one day you are going to leave it, right? So who are you? It's a very difficult question to answer. We spent at least 18 years educating ourselves and learning so many things, and the least person we know about is ourselves. And if we really want to succeed in our life, the most important person to study is yourself. And it's so difficult to understand who I am if I don't understand my self-image, my desires, my success stories, everything, and to have the right self-image in place. We are all capable, guys, to live an extremely successful, happy, and fulfilled life. But we've got to have the right direction. And that's what I personally did for myself by following and learning from the best teacher in the world, who taught me how to really bring my true potential to the surface. We have an unlimited potential. That's what science, theology, and any other reference confirm, that humans have an infinite potential. So why we do not bring it to the surface, right? And the self-image is one of the key components that we have to study. All right, so we're coming towards the end of our webinar. It's time to announce the bonus, as I promised you about at the beginning. So the bonus is going to be the next powerful step to transforming your self-image and achieving any goal that you truly desire. So I would like to offer you a free discovery session that I usually charge for it $250, and it's free only for tonight because this is the first time we animate such online webinar on this topic. So it's going to be a complimentary goal setting session to help you really discover what you really want to achieve. And I will be showing you exactly what you need to do in order to get what you want. All right, so in this discovery session that is free of charge for only 10 people, and I will let you know later on why 10. In this discovery session, we are going to work on 3 main things. Number 1, I will be helping you to have clarity around your goals and the changes that you wish to make. Number two, we are going to discuss and expand your awareness on your current position, because a common mistake that people do is to start working on the destination, start working on the end result, start working on the goal, and they forget to understand what is their current position. Because I cannot reach point B if I don't understand what is the point A that I'm standing on, right? This is number two. And finally, I will be showing you a clear pathway to achieving your goals and making the changes that you would like to make. So the pathway is the outcome of 58 years of studies and research on the topic of human potential and success. It's a step-by-step process that I personally followed and transformed my life, and can transform your mindset that can get you the desired result. So whether you have a goal around your health, your confidence, your financials, your relationships with your partners, with your friends, with your professional partners, it really it's independent on the type of the goal, because all the results are created the same way. Okay, so I'm going to choose 10 people randomly who will subscribe to this free discovery session, because I'm really limited in time. Hopefully we can open it later on for more participants. So if you are interested and committed to work with me on this free discovery session, I invite you to copy this link, and I will drop it for you in the chat box right now if you would like to locate it. Okay, I'm not able to paste it. I will just type it. It's bit.ly/Mentalon. Anyway, it's very easy to memorize. So if you are committed, guys, to your growth and to really take your results to the next level, you can benefit from this free discovery session, and it's only exclusive for tonight and the participants on this webinar. So when you click on this link, you will have a simple form to fill just to understand your current position and to understand how we can help you during this free discovery session. And once you fill this form, someone from our team will contact you to schedule the session. So it's time for your feedback, your questions and answers. Please, again, locate the chat box on your computer or on your mobile screen. And I want you to share with me your feedback on this webinar. If you have any questions, I really have the pleasure to answer them. Or any insight that you would like to add, if you could relate to a situation that had happened to you. Do you have any question, guys? Okay, anyway, I invite you to, if you enjoyed and learned from me tonight, you can follow us on social media platforms so you can stay updated with our news and events. And if you are curious to know more how we can help your company, if you work in a company, how we can help your company and your team achieve great results, please have a conversation with us over social media. We would love to come to your office and share with you more details. Okay, it seems we have a question. You're most welcome, Michelle. Thanks for sharing. Alain is asking, how long does it usually take to change the self-image? That's a great question, Alain. The self-image cannot be changed overnight, right? It's a fixed idea in our subconscious mind, and it's really based on on the brain plasticity, how faster you can adapt and change. But usually it takes between 20 days to 60 days. Okay, the more consistent you are on the self-image script and repeating it, the faster your self-image will be replaced. Thanks for sharing that, Elena. Thanks. This was really helpful. Thank you. Thank you, Nadim. An excellent experience. Thanks. My pleasure. Alan, thanks for your question. Any other question, guys? Okay. So, guys, thank you so much for having me tonight. Please put what you have learned into action. Okay. We have spent altogether 1 hour, and I really worked hard on this presentation. Put it into action so you can really benefit. Knowledge is never enough. Actions are the name of the game. So put into action what you have learned, book your discovery session, and follow us on social media. Okay, we have another question. I already studied about the self-image, but the webinar was great and helpful. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful for this comment. Jad Karam, amazing webinar. Thanks, Naim. My pleasure, Jad. So it was a real pleasure, guys, really, for me to share this with you. I wish you a great night. Stay connected with us and let us know how we can help you further. Do not forget to book your discovery session. All right. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.